What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This is Paul, your hip hop relationship and recovery coach, and I'm bringing to you again with the honor, the privilege, and the blessing, another episode of Kick Your Butt Out. Before I get off into the content, I want to say what I always say, and I strongly encourage you to get this in here so that you can incorporate this into your life. And that is, if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one, everybody. It's just that simple. All right. Let me get off into what I want to talk about today. The title of today's episode is, But I Gotta Be Strong For Part 2. It's a continuation of Monday's podcast or Monday's episode. However, today we're going to talk about But I Gotta Be Strong For from a recovery or a lack thereof standpoint. And I want to take or talk about a clip or a piece from one of my early episodes that I had taken from an episode of the television show that used to come on called Intervention. Some of you all might know about this television show, others may not. The television show was about people who had been overcome with addictions, alcoholisms, of many vices, right? And family, friends, and loved ones who knew they were addicted would come together and do this intervention in the name of getting them into treatment and getting the help that they need so that they can gain lives of recovery. That's what the television show was about. It was a powerful show, hasn't been on in a while. I'm hoping that it comes back on again because, again, that show was very powerful and inspirational. This particular episode that I'm going to talk about today, like I said, I talked about it in one of my earlier podcasts. The episode was about a daughter who was addicted to heroin and a mother, in the name of the things that she did, in the name of I gotta be strong for, and how her being strong for was costing her just as much, if not more, than it was costing the daughter. So this family, this particular family, right, well-to-do family, lived in the suburbs, middle upper class family, careers, college, you name it. This family was come from that type of background. In the episode, it never spoke about anyone else in this family having any issues with addiction except for the daughter. The daughter's addiction had taken her to a place where she couldn't even live at the house anymore. She lived hours away in the inner city where all the drugs and the crime, the homelessness, the hopelessness was. And the mother, in the name of I gotta be strong for. Now, you have to understand that this mother, even though in the name of you can't let them see you sweat, in the name of I gotta be strong for, you never saw her break. You never saw her cry. You never saw her sad. However, you would have known as a parent the sadness. As a parent, or from a parent standpoint, you would have known her sadness. Then let me talk about what the mother used to do. What the mother would do 3 to 4 times a week minimum in the name of I gotta be strong for. She would get up daily, go to her ATM, get a few $100s out of the bank, drive those few hours to the inner city, to an abandoned house where her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend lived. Excuse me. She would pick up her daughter, drive to the dope house. Her daughter would stay in the car while she went to the dope house herself. Bought the daughter's drugs, brought them back to the car, gave them to the daughter while the daughter sat, and she would drive while the daughter would sit in the back seat and shoot up her heroin. Then they would go back to the abandoned house where her daughter lived, and she would spend some time in that abandoned house with her daughter as well. Let me say this. You have to, again, her mother never showed the pain that she was experiencing. But I'm willing to guess, and I'm willing to bet you all, that when her mother was holding her in her arms as a baby, when her mother was watching her as she was 2, as she was 3, and they were doing these videos of her, never did her mother ever think that she would be copping dope for her daughter in the name of, I gotta be strong for her. The mother's justification or reasoning behind why she did that, she said that she would do it because she didn't want her daughter out there doing God knows what to get her next fix. There's a problem with that. Here's a couple of problems with it. First and foremost, you're not being strong for her. You're continuing to enable her to stay in that madness one more time, or one more day, or one more session or episode or whatever. Also, while you weren't all of the hours that you weren't around or the days that you didn't come, your daughter did God knows what to get her next fix. So I want to talk about what it costed the mother in the name of, I gotta be strong for her. Like I said, not once during the episode did you see the mother break? Did you see the mother sad? Did you see the mother cry? Or anything, any of those things? This is a caring mother, right? She's being strong for her. But here's some of the things that it costed her in the name of being strong for her. It costed her peace, because I'm sure many of her days were spent thinking about whether or not her daughter OD'd or what was she doing when she wasn't around. It costed her sleep. Many nights, probably, her mother could not rest, knowing that her baby was out there jeopardizing her life. It costed her her safety, because she had to leave the safety of her community and her home to go to a place that she had no familiarity with, right? A place that, you know, if it weren't for her daughter being in that place, she would probably have never been in any of those communities. She would never have knocked on a dope man's door. So it's costing her her safety in the name of, I gotta be strong for. It's costing her money, right? It's costing her lots of time with herself, time with her significant other, time with her other children. It's costing her a whole lot of these things that it doesn't even need to cost her in the name of her being strong for her daughter. And the reality of it is, I'm doing this because I love my child. But you're enabling your child, and you're continuing to put your child in the place of jeopardizing her life. And we understand that you weren't supplying all this to your daughter from a malicious standpoint. You weren't saying, let me go get her some drugs so that she could possibly OD and die. You were saying that I'm doing this because I care about my daughter. And I really don't want my daughter doing this, but if she's going to do it, let me help to keep her with some form of safety. That's costly. That's costly. That's costing us something as parents. And anybody who out there listening to this podcast, if you're a parent, you got to agree with the fact that that's costing us as parents as well to continue to do these things for our children, knowing that these things are jeopardizing our children's lives. Not only jeopardizing our children's lives, it's also jeopardizing ours and all of the other relationships that has meaning and significance in our lives. So in the name of being strong for mom's distorted way of thinking that she was being strong for her daughter was actually making this thing a whole lot worse. I told my son one time, because one of my sons had suffered from pills, pill addiction, opioids. And he asked me for some money one day. And at this time I would usually give my children money for their birthdays. And a couple of years ago, I was at a recovery convention in Las Vegas. The irony, right? Anyway, he called me, and it was around his birthday, and he asked me for some money. And I said, son, if I give you this money, right? And I had the money to give. If I give you this money, you go buy your drug of choice, and that be the particular one that takes your life. How do you think that's going to make me feel? What do you think that is going to do to me as a parent, knowing that the money that I gave you or gave my child was the money that caused my child to end, was the money that bought the drug that caused my child to end up dying? How do you think that's going to make me feel? Obviously, he understood and he didn't get the money, because my way of being strong for my child, and I want you all to hear this. My way of being strong for my child or my loved one or my friend or whoever the person is, or whether it's someone I'm working with from a professional standpoint or personal standpoint, I'm not going to give you anything that's going to enable you to buy drugs. That's just not going to happen. I'll feed you. I'll take you to the store to get you some food, those kind of things. I'm not going to give you anything that's going to get you a drug or anything that's going to help you to get high. That's just not going to happen. That's my way of being strong for you. And I'm encouraging parents and loved ones and friends out there who are listening to this podcast, the way that we can be strong for the people who we care about who are suffering from addiction, whatever it is to, number one, again, like I said, don't give them anything that's going to enable them to buy, purchase, or sell something to get their drugs. Don't do that. Number two is, the way that I'm going to be strong for you is to encourage you to be strong for yourself first. I get to assist you in being strong. That's how this works. Let me say that again. The way I'll be strong for you is to encourage you to be strong for yourself first. And then I get to walk alongside of you in helping you to be strong enough to get yourself together and get off of that stuff so that you can live and be the person that I know that you're capable of being. And so this mother, I want to think about some of the things that this mother probably was suffering from in the name of being strong for her daughter. Think about this. Her mother had to be suffering from some sort of depression and or anxiety. She had to be suffering from, probably some shame and feelings of failure. What did I go wrong at as a parent? And many of those things that her mother and or father probably was going through from a thought process they may have had to take some medications. They may or may not have had to take some medications to help regulate them when it came to depression and all of these things. And or there may have been some nights that, let me have a drink. Let me have 2 drinks or 3 drinks to help me to sleep and not have to think about what my son, daughter, or child, whoever the case may be, is going through. And so I'm talking about being strong for and how it costs the person who is being strong for. Because the person who's always being strong for is always the person who was give. It's almost never a receive. And so people, everybody who out there listening to this podcast, if you have someone that you know who is suffering from any form of addiction, alcoholism, whatever the vices may be, I strongly plead with you, the way that you be strong for them is 0 enabling. Don't give them anything, don't give them anything that would assist them in staying in that mess one more second. If that's what you want to do, son, daughter, friend, whoever, then I'm going to have to allow you to do that. I'm not going to be party to that. I'll be strong for you from a perspective of, excuse me, I'm here when you're ready to live. I'm here when you're ready to get it together. I'm here when you're ready to heal. I'm here when you're ready to recover. That's how we be strong for when it comes to addiction. Because like I said, when we give our loved ones money, we're helping them stay in that thing one more time and possibly putting them closer to overdosing and or death. So people, let's do this thing together. Let's work on doing what we need to do to be strong for us first, whether it's from our relationships or it's from people that we know who are suffering from addictions or alcoholisms. We have to be strong for ourselves first. And what that means is, I can't carry you if you're deciding to lay down. I can only carry you if you're deciding to help me carry you. So thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. Again, please comment, post, repost, share, like, subscribe. I would love to have some conversations around this because I know that you know someone, whether it's directly or indirectly, that you can relate what I'm talking about to. So again, let's have some conversations, and whatever I could do to assist and help you get out of I gotta be strong for mentality. Let's do that. Let's do that. Thank you all so much. I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is Paul, your hip-hop relationship and recovery coach. As always, be well, do the next right thing. God bless you all, and if you looking for a butt, it's gonna always be easy to find one. Thank you all so much.